Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to another episode of the Deadlockathon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in Valve's not so secret hidden game Deadlock. I'll be going in alphabetical order from Abrams to Yamato. I'll be covering their lore and personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their designs. Please do keep in mind that everything I talk about is subject to change, and speaking of that, this video was actually delayed partially because I was tired, and also because, well, the character in question that we're going to talk about did actually get changed. So, yeah, that point I make about things being subject to change, yeah, it actually affected this video's upload. So, hey, always keep in mind, things are subject to change, and that's because this game is still actively in development. And if you wish to play Deadlock for yourself and don't already have access for a previous video of mine, I'll throw my Steam name up on screen. All you need to do is subscribe, send me a friend request, and I'll send you a code. Please do keep in mind though that they can take like 1 to 2 days, maybe longer to come through, so just be patient. And with that said, and as I'm sure many of you probably guessed from that little comment about her being changed, the object of obsession for today is the lovable girl failure herself, Vyper. Now, as I do in all of my videos, I would like to start by discussing Vyper's lore as well as some of her character interactions and her general personality. And again, as I do in every single one of these videos, I would like to start by reading off her in-game background. When it comes to breaking the law, not getting caught is a pretty important part of the job. Vyper never got that memo. Luckily for her, if there's one thing she's better at than being arrested, it's escaping out of jail. Having done time in every major prison in the tri-state area, Vyper has built an impressive network of street-level lowlives that owe her one. She's also built an impressive network of street-level lowlives that want her dead, but she tries to focus on the positives. Vyper is a very, I'm going to stress this a lot, very funny character. I cannot lie, does she need much lore besides she gets in and out of jail more than anyone else in the game? No, she doesn't. I don't think we need to know her backstory. I don't think she wants us to know her backstory. But, do you know what? She makes up for it immensely in her personality. And to begin with some other lore tidbits about her wish, because every character in the game in some way, shape or form has a wish they want to make to the patron, whether that be like, I don't know, Mo and Krill wanting to be respected in society, or Drifter, I actually have no clue what Drifter wants, I forget. You understand, like, man. Try to give examples, and I immediately forget anyone else that may have an actual example that's easy to understand. Oh, Bebop. That's a good example. He wants Miss Shelley to get better. Stuff like that. Vyper's wish is to seemingly secure herself a new and better life, which, that's quite sweet. I presume that would be a life away from crime, but judging from how Vyper is, I don't really know if that would last very long. I feel like she'd get involved in crime eventually. And besides that, she also has a consistent thing of calling herself a Gorgon for some reason, and I'm sure as some of you may know, Gorgons are like the half-snake women from Greek mythology who can turn people to stone, which, I mean, she is technically a snake woman, so I can see the comparison, but a Gorgon is an interesting use of a term. And otherwise, Vyper has been to New Jersey, Staten Island, Philadelphia, Illinois, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin. I know nothing about any of those places because I'm English. I'm British, even. So, if you expect me to know what she's talking about when she talks about different states, I couldn't tell you a single thing. Continuing forward with some other lore tidbits, because she has a lot of tidbits. I mean, no offense to Vyper, she does run her mouth a lot, so she does kind of reveal a lot about herself, and instead of telling you about this thing, I'm going to let an interaction between Ivy and Vyper play out, which tells you it between the two of them themselves. Yeah, you get the idea.
Did Mendoza send you?
Ivy, I don't work for Mendoza.
You killed 13 people for him.
Allegedly.
You were convicted.
Yeah, of 13 counts. The real number is like actually way more impressive.
I'm taking you to jail.
Oh, you're the one wanting to talk shop. Don't be mad at me.
Yep, she said it herself, but she has worked for the Mendoza Syndicate, which, for those that don't know, is like a crime gang that runs around, or one of the many crime gangs in Deadlock's version of New York, apparently acting as Infernus's replacement, per a line from Infernus when he kills her, which I didn't actually know that Infernus used to work for Mendoza. I wish I knew that when I was talking about him in his own video, which surprise to me, I suppose. But let's get this one in there really quickly. I need to give some of the biggest shout outs ever imaginable to Stephanie Kerbis, who is Vyper's voice actor. Oh my god, she actually makes this character unbelievably funny. I cannot sing my high praises for her voice work at any high. Like, I'm genuinely, she might just be the vocally, like, she just might be the most impressive character in the entire game, because she delivers these lines as if she was actually just talking. These, it doesn't sound like she's acting per se. It actually just sounds like she's talking. She's having a conversation with someone else on the mic. Like, she sounds so unbelievably natural, and she adds such just a hilarity to every line that just Vyper delivers. And to prove that, I'm gonna play a line that I listened to between Vyper and Rafe. I'm not kidding, it actually made me like audibly laugh, which, I mean, sometimes these characters get like a little nose exhale out of me, but this one actually made me laugh.
Heard you shanked Molly.
Oh, Malonzo? No, who said that? Why'd you ask? She a friend of yours? I didn't know she was a friend of yours.
She's not.
Cool, yeah, no, I stabbed the hell out of her. Not a fan.
I mean, come on, man. It's too funny. It's too funny to me. The way she's like, oh, wow, really? You know her? You know her? No, maybe. And then immediately, the second Rafe goes, nah, I didn't know. I didn't like her. Immediately, Viper's like, yeah, no, I definitely stabbed her. Like, it's just, she's so funny. Like, she's a total girl failure. Like, I cannot stress that enough either. She is a girl failure. And Stephanie Covers just delivers the lines just incredibly. And for those who are curious in what else she may have been in, I checked her IMDb page. She was in Fortnite as one of like the Save the World characters. She was in Pokemon Horizons. She's in Helldivers 2 and Armored Core 6. Those are just what she's apparently known for. I looked through her long list of credits. She's in a couple of TV shows and such, and I don't really recognize her from much. Admittedly, I'm not very experienced outside of the world of video games, I must admit. But moving forward from those few interactions, as well as, you know, other bits and pieces of her lore, she has been kicked out of the Paradox Museum and the Baroness Hotel, apparently personally by the doorman himself, which the idea of this otherworldly eldritch god just actually paying attention to Vyper is kind of funny to me. She's also been banned from Jezebel's, which of course she did, and she apparently once crashed Fashion Week per an interaction she has with Mina. Or not an interaction, a line that she says when she kills Mina. Vyper also makes reference to Pruno, which is a improvised alcoholic beverage known as prison wine, and it's implied that Vyper uses her own venom to make it, which means that she is a venomous serpent instead of a poisonous one, which makes sense. And at the end of it, or just to end off this little lore segment before we move on to more stuff about her personality, which, I mean, that is literally what she has in strides. According to Mina, per line that she has when she kills her, Vyper has a Midwest accent. I'm not sure on American accents. As I said, I'm English or British. I don't really understand American accents. I can tell you, like, or nail down which one that Vyper has, but whatever it is, it sounds good. I think it's quite attractive, but that's besides the point, you know? Moving on to character interactions, and I mean, I've already showed some bits and pieces of her personality, but man, you could literally go on for days talking about her personality. She's infectious. The first line on the Deadlock wiki for character interactions is that nobody trusts Vyper, and you know what? Yeah, that's fair. Judging from like interactions with Bebop, I mean, I know Bebop's probably a bad example, but like she offers to transport Miss Shelley's medication, and immediately Bebop's like, nah, I don't trust you. Like, Bebop's literally like the nicest, sweetest fella ever. He would like accept help. I mean, he invites Drifter into his own home. Drifter. But Vyper wanting to move medication? Nah. Nah. Loud, incorrect buzzer. Another thing I must mention is that Vyper is infatuated with Lash. And to prove that, even though I already played one of the voice lines in Lash's own video, I'd now like to play a different one between the two of them.
I can't believe I'm here next to you.
That's what the Lash does. Makes dreams come true.
You smell even better when you're awake.
when I tell you that the first time I heard that interaction, I practically spat my drink out. I can't even... excuse you, Vyper? Vyper's a freak. Like, she is very, very much a raging bisexual. And why do I say that? Well, I'm sure if any of you have watched my page video, yeah, Vyper seems to get around quite a bit. That's probably the best way I can probably put it. She's, as I said, infatuated with Lash, but she mistakes Paige for someone that she met at a club, which, I mean, she's dating women and men. I mean, if that isn't a raging bisexual, I don't know what is. But besides that, Vyper doesn't seem to really have any limits when it comes to people that she wants to steal from. And to prove that point, I want to play an interaction for the first time in Juice history. I'm actually going to play 4 interactions in one video, and that is because Vyper is literally one of the funniest characters in this entire game. All of it comes from, you know, like, just Stephanie Kerbis is like, just, I can't even stress how good her voice acting is. It's literally just someone talking. It has this same effect for me as Kanji from Persona 4, for anyone that's played Persona 4. Kanji's voice acting in Persona 4 is so unbelievably natural that every line of his just cracks me up. And I think the same effect has come with, like, Vyper. Every line she says is so natural, so, like, normal. It's hilarious. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I would now like to play the interaction between Vyper and Lady Geist.
Hey, where can I get a pair of those earrings?
Why do you ask? It's not like you could afford them.
Okay, so it's sounding like off your dead body.
Is that supposed to be a threat?
Lady, are you a moron? It's obviously a threat. After this ritual, I'm gonna mug the shit out of you.
My dear Vyper, I can't wait for you to try.
It's just like, the Lady Geist is a very powerful and very much rich woman, and Vyper's out here like, yeah, I'm gonna mug the shit out of you, man. It's just like, are you stupid? Some other stuff that she has attempted or shown interest in stealing is Ava, so Calico's cat, Kelvin's Parker, Pocket's suitcase, and Yamato's sword. And per a funny ass voice line that I heard when I was playing as her to kind of get familiar with the changes made to her the other day, apparently she's robbed the shopkeeper before. Like, I bought an item, I think it was like Boundless Spirit, so, you know, like a tier 4 item, and he went, wow, you're actually buying something from me instead of stealing it. I was like, that kind of made me chuckle. That's kind of funny. I like that. I like that. But yeah, Vyper is a unbelievably infectious character, and if I continue to cover every single interaction she had, I would literally be here for the next 1,000 years. She has interactions with so many people. Like, she's got interactions with Bebop, who she has an immense dislike to, which, I mean, that makes sense, right? Because obviously she's a huge fan of the Lash. The Lash, even. Apparently she's a friend of Mo and Krill's, which, I mean, that's kind of cool, actually. Like, one person that she's actually friends with, and not, like, on, what would you call it? Like, what terms would you call her interactions with everyone else? No one trusts her, so she's not really a friend to anyone. Yeah, it's kind of neat that she's friends with Mo and Krill, but then again, anyone that isn't, like, strictly on the side of the law seems to be quite fond of Mo and Krill. But even then, I say that, but Holiday seems to be kind of interested in the two of them, because they obviously can help her and stuff. So yeah, Vyper just has so many interactions. She's just I'm looking at the Deadlock wiki page right now. She has 67 references. Like, every single time they list a thing, like, for example, on the wiki it says Vyper is infatuated with Lash. There's 3 references for that, and that's 31. And then you go down the bottom of the page where it talks about Wraith, 67. Oh. Okay, ignore what numbers that makes up, or what numbers make up the word 67. I will kill, like, I will obliterate, I will mind blow any of you that make a joke about that. It's not funny. It's not fun. Don't laugh. It's not funny. Anyways, as I said, there is so many interactions, I would be here till the end of time trying to cover them all. So if you wish to know more about Vyper, go look for yourself. She's got so many interactions, so many funny ones. I could not play them all here without this video suddenly turning into the longest one yet. So with all of that said, I'm now going to move on to her gameplay and her abilities. Please do keep in mind though that for this segment I use OBS to record my audio and my gameplay simultaneously, so if I sound slightly different, I do apologize in advance. But with that said, we now move on to her gameplay and her abilities. Right, so here we are in the ever so lovely and ever so helpful training range to talk about Vyper's gameplay, which, as I mentioned in the intro, did recently get changed. And this is the thing with covering a game that is still actively in development. Vyper's 1, just for those who are unaware, Vyper's 1 and her 3 got her 1 got huge changes. Her 3 got a slight change on one of its upgrades. Otherwise, she's basically the same as she was for the most part, lest I'm missing something. But in that same patch, guess who else got changed? Victor. In my video on Victor, I covered that his buying spirit resilience on him was a very, very important buy because it reduced the amount of damage he takes from his aura of suffering. Yeah, no, they got rid of that interaction. He cannot reduce the amount of damage he takes from it. This is the problem when you cover a game that's still actively in development. You suggest things, you say, oh, this is really good, oh yeah, use this. And then like 4 days later, it's like not in the game anymore. I'm so lucky that I took days off when I did, because otherwise I could have been coming here doing this video on Vyper, and then 2 days later they're like, yeah, by the way, her 1 is completely different. Awesome, Valve, I love you. Anyways, enough about me complaining about the fact that a game is, still actively in development. Vyper's gun is known as the Rattler. It is, funny enough, it's just Ivy's gun, basically. It shares the same model, I think. Kinda. Just with smaller magazine, I think. It looks almost identical. She even has the same melee animations as Vyper, or no, Ivy. Kind of ironic that the two of them don't like each other, and then share a gun and melee animations. But anyways, the gun itself is a very fast firing like SMG with quite a wide pattern or widespread. Like the spread gets bigger as the more you shoot it, like most guns do. Per its existence as a fully automatic SMG, it is much better at close range. Does a lot of damage at close range actually, especially if you hit headshots. In like the laning phase, I have actually struggled using this gun a bit. It does just barely enough damage to it doesn't kill minions unless you're like actually really close to them. I know Vyper wants to live and breathe up close to people and then back out immediately afterwards, but yeah, I've actually struggled in lane with this gun because sometimes it will leave an enemy or like a minion on either 1 health, or very annoyingly it will kill the minion, but then I will have to reload and then shoot, to actually like shoot the soul that comes out of them, which has gotten me, screwed over sometimes. And admittedly, the reason for that is you don't really actually want to be reloading too much as Vyper. She is the queen of sliding, and this is a thing I'm going to stress a few times. I'm not very good at Vyper. The way I play most games is that I have my middle finger and my ring and index finger on W, A, and D almost at all times. So to, move and slide at the same time, I kind of have to remove one of my fingers. I have to remove my ring finger from A to get to control to slide. I know I could easily like solve the problem by just making another button, the slide button, but you get my idea. I kind of like struggle a bit to multitask, like moving around, sliding, and shooting all simultaneously. So I'm not very good at sliding, like shooting, and Vyper basically lives and breathes off of that. That is because of one of her abilities, which I feel like I probably should discuss this one actually immediately, because it just exists at all times and all the rest of them are just kind of there. So yeah, let's discuss her 3, which before the most recent update, this ability used to be available immediately. She was the only character in the entire game to have an ability right off the bat without having to put a single point into it. So this used to literally be available the second you spawned in. Now you do have to put a point in it to get access to it. I do have the old versions of Sliver and her 1 up on my other monitor. So if you hear my voice kind of like grow distant, it's because I'm turning to look at the changes they made to it. But as it is now, you have increased slide distance, can slide up hills, and you turn faster while sliding. The extra slide distance you get is 10%. It does what it says on the tin, really. You can slide literally just from walking, which most other characters can't do. And of course, as it says, you can slide further, and just to, you know, make a show of it, you can slide up hills, which of course no other character can besides Vyper. And as you know, when you slide, you get infinite ammo, which is obviously the solution to the problem that I mentioned just a moment ago, where I kind of like struggle to secure souls and kill minions in like the laning phase. Because the idea is you just literally need to be sliding at all times. Like there is the idea with Vyper. Okay, before I would argue the idea with Vyper is that you slid at all times. And now you still want to be sliding as much as you can, but they did change one of the upgrades for her slide, which makes it less efficient when it comes to just sliding permanently. But speaking of the upgrades, on the first upgrade, you increase your slide distance by 20%, bringing it to 30%. On the second upgrade, you get an extra 2 stamina. Now, Vyper already has 4 stamina, which is really damn high. I don't think anyone else in the game actually has 4 stamina, now I think about it. Who would be like a contender to have 4 stamina? Calico, maybe? She got 3, right? Yeah, she has... I don't actually... Does Grey Talon have 4? Yeah, okay. Grey Talon also has 4 stamina. If there's anyone else, I'm sure someone's gonna let me know. But she has a whopping 4 stamina anyways. And just with this one upgrade, now you have 6 stamina. That's absurd. And obviously it does exist to obviously help you, you know, be sliding as much. Vyper's a really hard character to nail down. Like, she's really hard to get a hold of once she has level 2 slide, because she not only has 6 stamina, which, you know, allows her to do dashes, dash jumps, double jumps, all in quick succession. I mean, like, if I turn off fast stamina, right, I can do a dash jump, double jump, air jump, and I've still got 2 stamina left to do whatever the hell I want. And funny enough, she's actually received even an even bigger buff with the most recent patch, because now when you do a wall jump that comes after the first one, it takes up 0.5 stamina, so like half a stamina bar. So Vyper actually having 6 stamina really helps her with that change, because now she is still able to like wall bounce as much as she like pleases. It's stupid. She's so hard to nail down. Like, the slide distance is absurd, the extra 6 stamina is absurd, and like that's ignoring, you know, like, she doesn't need to buy extra stamina ever. Like, you never need to buy stamina mastery. I mean, as this build little note thingy note says, if you want 3 million stamina, like, if you buy this, you have 8 stamina bars, and I'm just like look how silly this looks, man. That looks stupid. It's not worth it. So in my experience, and by the way, this build, great build. This build is, since her changes, I think this is like one of the better builds I've been able to find. I've been using this in a few of the games, because obviously I delayed this video because I wanted to kind of understand how the quote-unquote new Vyper worked, and I'm not very good at her, so I wanted to get a little bit better at her before I made this video. This build I've seen some huge success with this build. I won like 3 games in a row as Vyper. I was very proud of myself. I didn't even have to slide that much. But yeah, she almost always wants to buy like enduring speed, like, or like eventually, if you can get Juggernaut, whew, you will never catch Vyper ever. She, like, if she decides on a whim, I'm gonna run away now. Yep, she is gonna run away now. You're not gonna catch her. The only way to catch her is with, you know, like, stuns. Like, she most of the time, as it says, you know, you're gonna want to reduce the move speed penalties. You just aren't gonna be slowed ever, and yeah, stuns are like the only way to stop her. 7's kind of annoying in that respect, but then again, if 7 starts to stun you, you can just still run away as fast as you possibly can. So, but here's where the changes lie. Before, Slide had an upgrade on level 3 where you got an extra 25% to both spirit and bullet resist whilst you were sliding. That encouraged you to slide literally as much as humanly possible, because whenever you were sliding, you were 25% tankier. Like, why would you not be sliding all the goddamn time? But now it says that on slide, you get a 180 barrier for 5 seconds. Said barrier does actually scale with spirit, and there is an 8-second cooldown for that barrier. So now if I were to slide, I get a barrier, you know, it exists, gives you an extra, like, that improves her survivability even more. Like, obviously, as it is now, it improves her survivability more. However, I do think it's a nerf, because obviously, you know, 25% resists to both for free every time you just, like, start sliding. I mean, why would you not want that? But now it's a barrier that shows up every 8 seconds. It's kind of like, you know, you don't want to be sliding as much anymore. And with the recent changes to her 1, which I'll discuss in a moment, I do think they're kind of like pushing Vyper away from gun builds, because that used to be kind of like the go-to for Vyper, at least in my experience, because you would just slide everywhere, have infinite ammo, and just be 25% tankier. You'd shoot everyone a lot, and they would all just kind of explode. But now, with the changes to her 3, not having the bullet resist, instead having a barrier that, funny enough, scales for spirit, and the changes to her 1, I do think they're kind of pushing her down like a spirit path, which I don't necessarily mind. I mean, obviously, as I said, I played a few games as her to prepare myself for this video, and she feels great, actually. Maybe I was just missing out. Maybe I just weren't playing Vyper enough. Maybe I wasn't playing the, what did this guy call her? Hybrid bisexual girl failure? Yep, that is basically what Vyper is. Bisexual girl failure. Love her, though. Anyways, moving on to her 1, which, as I've mentioned many times now, has been changed completely. Now, I will discuss how it exists as now, and then talk about how it used to be like 3 days ago. It's known as Screw Jab Dagger. It has 2 charges at base, and there is a 4.5 second cooldown between charges. Otherwise, it has a 10-second cooldown for each individual charge. You throw a dagger, dealing spirit damage and applying a slow. Each subsequent dagger against the same target stacks in spirit damage and slow. At base, it does 50 damage, which scales to spirit, and on hit, it deals 35% minus 35% move speed penalty. And with each subsequent knife, you do an extra 25 damage and a extra minus 15% move speed. Words, so many S's. Move speed per stack. The stacks take 10 seconds to decay, and you can have a maximum of 3 stacks, meaning the amount of damage, or the max damage you can do at base, is 100 per knife and 75% slow. Yeah, I think that's how that works. Just to show what that looks like, you press 1, you throw a knife, you throw a green knife just straight away. Now, if you hit the enemy, it has the little targeting or the little stack thing above their head. You do the damage and you slow them. You throw another knife, then they get slowed even more, and they have a second stack above their head. And you throw a third knife, and they get slowed even more, and they have a third one above their head. And if you throw any knives beyond the third one, it will just reset the thingy up top. Before, how this ability worked at base was that you threw a dagger that dealt spirit damage and applied a fading slow. It used to do 50 damage at base, which scaled to spirit, and the movement slow was 50% for 1 second. So before, it was kind of a dagger that you just threw out, and it would do like a chunk of damage, it would 50% slow, and yeah, that's it. That's all it would do. If I remember rightly, it didn't have any charges either. I think it was literally just the single dagger. You like threw it and it did its damage, it did it slow, and then, you know, you follow up on it with shooting people. Now, obviously, it has got the stacking effect to it. It does, funny enough, it does the same damage at base, but now it actually can do more damage with, subsequent stacks. And the move speed can go up to higher with, subsequent stacks. And I think that's kind of like changed how Vyper's meant to be played in lane. Because as I said before, Slide or the Sliver was available immediately. Like, even if you didn't put a point into it, you just have it immediately. But now you actually have to put a point into it to get the benefit. And in my experience, it's better to just put a point into Dagger instead. Because you can, like, in the laning phase, you can literally just lob it. You lob it, you do the damage, and whoop-de-doo. And if you can, then you throw another one. And the way the ability kind of works with, the gap between thingies being, 4.5 seconds and the cooldown for it being 10 seconds, you actually can get the triple stack before you even get, like, an extra charge of the ability. Like, you can just in lane stack up the damage higher and higher. It's like, it's just really annoying. She's kind of, like, she just pokes quite well. Like, as long as you hit the dagger, of course, she can just be annoying. Like, she just appear, dump her mag into you and then throw a single knife, and it's like you're taking 100 and something damage just from, like, what, a couple bullets and a single knife. Like, it's just, now, instead, like, before she was kind of like, what would you, like, per this description here, the patch changed Spirit Viper's laning phase from bursty poke to sustained poke. Because before, she would, like, slide headfirst in, shoot you up, throw the dagger, and then put venom on you. But now it's kind of like, you kind of have to actually like hang back a little bit. You can't just like charge headfirst in with all willy-nilly. But yeah, it's interesting. Either way, on the first upgrade, you get a extra charge to the ability, which of course now makes it even easier to get the third tier of the stacking damage. On the second upgrade, you reduce bullet resist by 8% and spirit resist. No, it is just bullet resist. Whoops. I thought there would be a spirit resist part. My bad. It does on hit minus 8% bullet resist and minus 5% bullet resist per stack, totaling up to, what would that be? 18. So basically now you throw the dagger, they'll take more damage from your bullets. Then you throw another dagger, they take even more damage from your bullets, and then another, and you get the idea. Funny enough, it does actually have like a spirit icon next to the shield, so I don't know if the bullet resist shred scales with spirit. I'm not sure why there's a spirit icon next to it. Yeah, I've got no clue actually. Before, the old dagger didn't actually reduce resists in any way, shape, or form. Its upgrades were reducing the cooldown, increasing the damage, and then increasing the slow duration and removing a stamina bar. But now, of course, it's adding an extra charge, reducing bullet resist on hit, and on the third upgrade, if you actually hit the knife, you actually refund 40% of your charge cooldown, which is quite interesting, actually. So say, for example, you know, like, oh, look, it's 5 seconds, right? It's 5 seconds between charges. But then if I actually hit the knife, it is 5 seconds. How does that work? On hit, refund 40% charge cooldown. I don't... Oh, it refunds the actual cooldown of the knife that you just threw. Oh, okay. So as you see here, if I throw the knife, it's got to go through the entire cooldown bar. But if I throw this other knife, it refunds the cooldown of that. Okay, that makes sense. Basically, that just lets you throw more knives and stack up the bullet resist, or yeah, the bullet resist shred, and lets you stack up the move speed even further, blah, 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 blah. I like this ability, actually. I like it quite a lot. Kind of reminds me a bit of Shiv, and funny enough, she does actually have a line when she throws it where she says, Shiv ain't got nothing on me, which is kind of like, they kind of exist in a similar way, where you kind of like just lob them out when you can, to kind of like tickle away at them. Like you do a bit of damage, you put a little slow on them, reduce their resistances a little bit, you kind of just soften them up, as Shiv would say, before you then, you know, go in and do your burst damage. And speaking of burst damage, Lethal Venom is a 15-meter range, it has a 20-second cooldown, and you inject a target with Lethal Venom. After a delay, the venom triggers, dealing spirit damage, and the damage is increased by the target's missing health. Lethal Venom will also ignore Petrify's damage block, which I'll obviously explain once we get to her ultimate. Either way, the minimum amount of damage Venom can do is 20, so against a full health target it will do that, and the max damage it can deal is 165. Both of them also increase with, spirit. It does 25%, it says 25% health and max damage. I presume that's obviously like the amount of extra damage it can deal with less health. They need to be below 25% health for the max damage. Whoopsie daisy. I get it now. I need a read. And it takes 3 seconds for the venom to build up. Well, to show what that looks like, you press 2, you get this little targeting reticle, you look at an enemy, and then you put the venom on them, bubbles up, and then it explodes, and it does its damage. Now, to show what it meant by the extra, thingy-majig, the extra, what word am I looking for? The minimum health damage. So look, quite clearly below 25% health, put the venom on Infernus, bubbles up, and then kaboom, he died. Obviously, this is clearly meant to be used as a execute tool. It's very good as an execute tool, mind you. What else you really want me to say about it? It is very clearly an execute tool. You are meant to go in, throw your knives at them, shoot them, slide around, shoot them, throw knives, and then once they're, in that 30% range, like 25% range, when they're getting a little bit low on health, you just kind of bum rush them and then just bang, venom on them, and then they usually die. It's very, very, it's very fun, actually. In some of my recent games, I had like a game where I was fighting a haze, and she thought she was so cool, slept me, tried to do her ult. I managed to slide out of it, because, well, I mean, Vyper slide is stupid. Like, I accidentally pressed caps. I meant to press shift and press caps lock instead. I just back up. Look how far oh, that's something I should have mentioned. Before with Vyper's slide, she would just, you know, normally slide. Now she leaves like this green trail behind her. I should have mentioned that. That does make it easier to track Vyper for where she's going. Like before, as I said, she's very slippery. She can just kind of escape. Them adding that green trail does make it easier to kind of like follow her and know where she's gone. So yeah, I should have mentioned that when I was talking about Sliver, but good thing I remembered to, or good thing I saw that actually. But yeah, I was fighting a haste, did her ult, slide out, blah, 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 do some damage. She does really, really high damage with this build. As I said, I found a lot of success with it. And I just put Venom on her and I just watched her like run away in her invisible state and then just kaboom, just dead. I've had times where I've killed people after I've been killed with Venom. Like, it does really high damage. Like, if the target is on low health, and you know, per this build, obviously you've built for like spirit and stuff, wow, they will blow up. They will literally just disintegrate right before your very eyes. It's a very fun ability. I quite like it. I like the sort of just knowing feeling where I've like, oh, this enemy is on low health, they escaped, but I put the Venom on them last second, and I hear the bubbling up sound as they run away, and they're just poof, bang, I got another kill. Awesome. But yeah, Lethal Venom's very fun. And anyways, on its first upgrade, you get an extra 35%, or 35%? Ooh, that would be scary if it was percentage. 35 max Venom damage, meaning the max Venom damage is 200. On the second upgrade, you reduce the healing received or you get minus 40% healing reduction to people with the Venom on them. And on the third upgrade, is a very important one, bullets also build up lethal Venom. So now, if you shoot someone, you're able to build up lethal Venom and get it to activate without actually having to use up the ability, which is very interesting. It makes Vyper's farming very easy, because now you're able to, like, once you get that third upgrade, like around the 20-ish minute mark, you can go farm tier 3 camps before like most other characters can. And for those that don't know what a tier 3 camp is, it's those ones, the big red ones. Like, the big red ones look really scary. Look at that huge health bar. But as you just kind of like slide around and shoot them, and you're reducing their bullet resist, you'll build up that Venom, and it will just kind of like chip away at them. Like, they will just take these big chunks of their health off, and you can literally kill tier 3 camps before like anyone else. I think the only person who probably farms better than Vyper is probably like Wraith. But Wraith's the best farmer in the entire game. It's absurd what she can do. And of course, per Vyper's very fast fire rate and, you know, general gun-likiness of merging gun and spirit into one, which benefits a lot from Tesla bullets. Tesla bullets is really damn good on her. And once you get this and you have, like, you know, level 3 lethal Venom, man, farming is like it's just an afterthought for Vyper. It's so absurd. Like, it is really dumb how good Vyper is at farming. Hell, I could probably farm even quicker if I knew how to slide consistently. As you saw there, I failed miserably. But anyways, very good ability. Lethal Venom is a very good ability, and it is a very good execute tool. And the good thing is, well, it does chunky damage. Does a lot of damage. Does lots and lots of damage. And it's very fun to watch someone like Dynamo get stuck with Lethal Venom and try and heal himself, and forgetting that it gives minus 40% to healing. That's very fun. I like that. Anyways, fourth ability, which I did mention a little bit when talking about Lethal Venom. Petrifying Bowler has an 8-meter radius. There's no icon there. That's kind of weird. Either way, it's got a 90-second cooldown, which is relatively short, all things considered. You throw an explosive bowler. On exploding, the bowler slows and damages all enemies in the area. Direct hits deal additional damage and petrify instead. I don't know why I paused there. Petrified units block all damage but cannot take action. The petrify lasts for 2 seconds. The damage it does is 45, so like the AoE explosion is 45. The actual damage of petrify is 165. Both of those scale with spirit, by the way. The move speed penalty, so from the AoE explosion, is minus 50%. And the slow duration is 1.5 seconds. To show what this looks like, you press 4, and then you just throw out a little green bowler, and then it explodes in an area and does its damage. Bang. And just to show what the actual slow looks like. Okay, no, I hit him directly. Anyways, just to show what the slow looks like. Yeah, chunky 50% slow. Now, as I accidentally just showed there, if you actually hit an enemy on the spot, they'll turn to like a stone statue and just, they can't do anything when they turn into the stone statue. They can't move, they can't shoot, they can't be hurt. They are literally just like, it's like an offensive viscous cube. You just can't do anything to them. I mean, then again, you can't even punch them. You literally can't do nothing. But as I mentioned with the lethal venom, you can put lethal venom on an enemy whilst they're in the thingy. And because of the, the duration, I mean, hell, you can actually deal damage with lethal venom. Okay, I'm gonna have to time that a little bit better. You can actually deal lethal venom damage. Words. You can deal lethal venom damage even to someone that's petrified. So you can use this in a couple ways. You can either just lob it out and, do the damage it does and slow everyone, or better, you can throw it at an actual target. And you can either throw it at a target that's running away, maybe they're on low health or something, you just throw it at them, stop them from running away, so you get a chance to put venom on them and kill them. You can, funny enough, because as I said, the bullets build up lethal venom, you can actually just stun a target and dump the mag into them, because then now they got to deal with lethal venom. Or say in a couple of my games I had like a bebop jump into the air and ult. You can just throw the bowler at him and it will take him out of his ult. It's like a stun almost, but it stops them from doing anything. Like I've had lashes fly up in the air, just throw a bowler at them, then they can't move at all or do anything. It cancels the ult as well. Like you can use it in a defensive manner or an offensive manner. You stop people chasing after you. You can obviously, as I said, stop people's ults, stop them in their tracks and then put venom on them. It's kind of like just a nifty little, it's like a fourth ability almost. It doesn't feel much like an ultimate because it's 90-second cooldowns, relatively short, all things considered. And of course, if you like as the game goes on, you'll just get more spirit stuff. And then, I mean, funny enough, cooldown isn't really a thing that Vyper really has to worry about. Like, unless you have, as what that description said, if you have like a bunch of active stuff like debuff remover, knockdown, silence wave, you have all that stuff. I mean, or Mercurial Magnum is really good on Vyper. So unless you have a bunch of stuff like, actives, I wouldn't say getting cooldown stuff is just not worth it. But it being 90 seconds, at least at base, makes it kind of just feel like another ability, which, I mean, hey, it helps do more damage. It does, chunky amount of damage at base. And then, of course, as I said, stuns them and petrifies them, and then you can put venom on them, blah, blah, blah. Actually, hold on, can you put a dagger on them? You can apply a stack of the dagger before they come out of the thingy, which obviously helps you, have that bullet resist and that slow. See? Pretty good ability. And then on its upgrades, you increase the petrify damage by 55, bringing it to 220, which is pretty damn high, especially when you start scaling stuff with spirit. On the second upgrade, you reduce the cooldown by 25 seconds, bring it down to 65 seconds. You can see what I mean by it feels like a third ability. 65 seconds is pathetically slow, or pathetically short. You can kind of just throw this thing out whenever you feel like it. And on the third upgrade, you increase the petrify duration by 1 second, and you petrify all enemies in the area. So now they are petrified for 3 seconds, and per its description, if I throw it at this training dummy, Infernus is also petrified. Which then, I mean, 3 seconds, that looks quite long, right? Like, if I'm able to, say you manage to, like, petrify the entire enemy team, you are now then able to kind of, like, synchronize with other team members. I did actually, funny enough, I played, like, 2 games just before I started making this video as Vyper, and I had a thing where I petrified like 3 or 4 people, and Dynamo just kind of, like, jumped in, and just singularity'd. Like, he was able to do his singularity and follow up from a petrify, which... that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. And then obviously when Dynamo's dragging everyone in, I just, dumb mag. You just, dumb mag. that's kind of like, thing is, right, Vyper wants to slide around a lot for the infinite reload or the infinite ammo thing, but like her reload's really damn fast. Like if they wanted to incentivize, like sliding a bunch, they would make her reload like kind of slower. But like how short is her reload? It's 1.6 seconds. That's nothing. Like everyone else kind of sits at like the 2.5 minute or 2.5 second minute. Wow, I failed that 2 times. 2.5 second mark. And then Vyper's out here, being incentivized to slide around and get the infinite ammo, but her reload is like pathetically short. Like, oh no, I didn't apply venom to someone or something. Like, I've got to reload. Oh no, what shame. That's stupid. Like, you're incentivized to slide, but they made a reload like the quickest in the entire game. Is it the quickest in the entire game? I know Yamato's is quick. No, Yamato's is not short enough. No. Who would have a quicker reload? Like, everyone else is like 2.4, 2.9, Paige 2.5, Moan Krill 2.8. Mina's feels pretty short. How long is hers? Okay, Mina's is like on a similar level, 1.7. What's Vyper's again? 1.6? Yeah. So Mina and Vyper have pretty similar reload times, and I mean that kind of makes sense. But it's kind of funny that the both of them have, you know, are incentivized to shoot people as much as possible. I mean, Mina, funny enough, Mina's another video who's gone redundant. They gave her a new passive where if you aim down sights whilst jumping or like flying in the air, she like uses the umbrella like Mary Poppins, and you're able to like float and stuff. Her movement got way better because of the recent update. Admittedly, she can't insta-kill walkers with her ult anymore, but I'd say the new passive is a decent trade-off. She's still very strong. So yeah, like that's another video that's kind of become redundant. Admittedly, that wasn't as bad as like Victor's. Like, come on, man. I made Victor's like 4 days ago, and now one of his entire things is gone. Mina's was like 2 weeks ago or something. I ain't that bothered. But yeah, speaking still of Vyper and the such, I like her kit. I like the changes that they gave to her. I like the dagger. It feels nice. It feels more rewarding to use than her old one. I know, as I said, I didn't really play much Vyper, but you know, I've played at least like 1 or 2, 3 games of her. I know most people will be like, 3 games, just nothing. But I'm someone who plays like everyone. I can kind of understand everyone's kits like kind of immediately. I just kind of adapt very quickly. I'm never like really good at anyone, but you know, that's kind of the nature of playing everybody. You just kind of are good. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's the word I'm looking for. Her old dagger was fine, but I like this new one because, you know, it feels like it's more rewarding. I get rewarded for having good aim and hitting multiple daggers in a row. And the eventual height damage is higher than the old daggers was. And the eventual move speed decrease is higher than the old daggers. And now you get bullet resist shred. That's even better, right? Venom is fun. I like Venom, as I said. I like watching people explode as they run away from me, because then I like to, you know, cool snakes don't look at explosions. I walk away from a dude as he explodes to Venom. I'm not very good at sliding. I think Petrifying Bowler is a pretty fun ult. It's basically a 4th ability. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's basically a 4th ability. But yeah, Vyper's gameplay is quite fun. And now let's move on to the worst part about her, which is her design. This is she has a line where she says, "I'm a work in progress. What you can do about it?" or something like that. Like, yeah, we can tell, Vyper. We can tell you're a work in progress. This is a modified version of another unfinished character who was known as Carly. Her model is basically identical, but she's yellow. Vyper just took that model and made herself green. I'm sorry, she doesn't even really look like a snake. She's meant to be a snake. She don't really look like one. She looks more like a bearded dragon, if anything. Is it even worth talking about this model? Like, seriously, what am I even meant to say? This is just really bad. Like, it's just really bad. The outfit is, I don't even know what the outfit's meant to be. Like, some shorts and like a harp. What? Wait a minute. What is she wearing? It's like a tank top, but the back's just lifted up for some reason, and the front is like non-existent. She's wearing some weird ass brown shorts. As I said, her gun is just like a copy and pastes of Ivy's, but it's missing the magazines. That's what was different. It's literally got holes where the magazine should be, and her legs. Why does she have legs? I mean, on the bright side, despite how terrible this model is, we do know she's getting another one. Per a leak, which I believe happened the same time that Viscus's did, we know that she is being turned into, you know, a proper snake. And more importantly, she's not going to have legs. She's actually going to be like a full-blown snake. I think she's going to be a cobra, if I remember rightly, which, yeah, cobra works. Cobras are usually venomous and not poisonous, as yeah, there is a difference between the two of them. I think the design they've kind of proposed for her works. I mean, it looks a little simple. She's not wearing any clothes at all. I do think maybe like a bit, maybe like a shirt or something may help. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, if she wants to not wear nothing, I ain't gonna judge her. But I quite like the redesign that's kind of like proposed. Making her a full-blown snake with no legs, like no legs at all, that works. That's a really cool design feature, and it makes her stand out a lot more because there's no other characters in the game that, you know, don't have legs. Everyone here has legs in some way, shape, or form. I think. I'm not forgetting anyone, am I? Yeah, no, everyone here has legs. It'd make Vyper really stand out if she was just, you know, slithering around at all times. Really sells the snake idea. And I mean, funny enough, if you look at the icon for Slither, they already have that idea in mind. As you can see in the icon, she literally just does not have legs. Admittedly, they are. I wonder if they'll change like the lethal venom icon to have like a cobra's. What is that called? I want to call it a mane, but that's like a lion thing. It's like their frills. I don't remember snake terms. You know the thing that's around their neck, the little thingy. You get the idea. Either way, the proposed redesign for Vyper looks really lovely. I mean, she is just like a big cobra woman. I mean, I wouldn't mind if she wrapped that tail around me, if you get what I'm saying. I love me a bisexual Girlfailure per this description for this build, and I do believe that she is. I know she is bisexual. You don't just want Lash and Paige at the same time. Come on, man. Let's bisexual erasure happens enough. Let's not do more of it. I am the woker, and I love diversity. A bisexual Girlfailure snake woman? That's incredible. But yeah, I don't even want to talk about this design. I mean, as it exists right now, it's just whatever. It's literally a copy and paste of Carly, but green, and it just kind of looks ugly. It just kind of looks ugly, I guess. I don't even know what to say. It's not even a snake. It's not a snake. Walking around here called Vyper. She don't even look like one. But yeah, I'd say that is the end of the video. I am done talking. I don't want to talk about the design. Let's just pray for a better day. Let's hope the mysterious Halloween update that might add priest, might not add priest, and it may add boho, but it may not add boho, adds Viscous and Vyper's new models. Please, Valve, I will give you, I don't know, £3, $3 for my American viewers, which I know like majority of you are. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, this is the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and if you enjoyed it up until this point, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether it be a good morning, afternoon, evening, etc. And the next entry of this series is in the home stretch of the last 3. That being the walking enigma, Warden.